just enough. Let the night lean.
Window crack whispers, breeze talking through the gap. Every gust a tiny therapist, interrupting my relapse. Purple smears along the skyline, city buzzing underneath. Lo-fi drums in slow rotation like a second set of teeth. I've been grinding out my daylight till my soul's on overheat. Saying yeah, I'm good, I'm busy with no air left in my seat. Stacking favors, stacking promises, stacking I'll be there, don't trip. While my spine turns into rebar, while my voice begins to slip. So I twist that little handle, let the cold air hit my skin. Like a slap that don't abuse me, just reminds me I'm still in. Let the smoke drift out in ribbons, taking pressure as it goes. Let the engine hum a lullaby, nobody around me knows. Street light halos blur the comets as I float along the lane. And the whispers through the window start to spell out all my pain. Saying you don't have to hold it, you can set a few things down. You can drive without performing, you can breathe without a crown. Window crack whispers flowing through the car. 420 little voices telling me I've come this far. Blues guitar glowing, bass keeping low. I don't have to prove I'm strong by pretending I don't glow. If tomorrow I forget and load my shoulders up with fissures, I'll remember I can listen to these window crack whispers. Yeah. I replay 100 moments where I bit back what I felt, where I traded my opinion for the comfort someone else. Said it's cool, I get it, no worries, it's fine. While my stomach tied in knots, while my spine fell out of line. Every time I change my schedule just to match their random plans. Every sure I'm free, don't sweat it while I swallow my demands. I became a crowded backseat full of someone else's bags. Every yes a little sticker covering warning yellow flags. But the wind tonight is honest, slides its fingers through my hair. Doesn't ask me to be easy, doesn't beg me not to care. Just invites me to consider what I need from those I keep. What I'm worth beyond convenience, beyond text me when you weep. I inhale like taking notes, exhale like signing deals. Promise I'll start counting how a situation really feels. Not just how it looks on paper, not just who might be impressed, but if I walk away from it more anchored or more pressed. Window crack whispers flowing through the car. 420 little voices telling me I've come this far. Blues guitar glowing, bass keeping low. I don't have to prove I'm strong by pretending I don't glow. If tomorrow I forget and load my shoulders up with fishes, I'll remember I can listen to these window crack whispers. Maybe boundaries ain't a fortress, maybe they a gentle breeze. Not a wall to shut out everyone, but air that let you breathe. A small cool line between I got you and I'm gone. Between I'll stay and help you heal and you can't bleed me till the dawn. So I let the night air true to me on when to say I'm near, on when to say I love you but I can't hold all this fear. On how to tell the difference between loyalty and drain, between showing up for someone and erasing my own pain. By the time I hit my corner, skies are darker velvet hue, and the voices from that crack feel like my own, not something new. Saying cancel when you're empty, leave the chat when it's too loud. Your small absence from a party doesn't make you less allowed. I roll up the glass halfway, let the cabin hold the rest. Carry just enough at night to keep it sitting in my chest. And I smile at my reflection in the smudging ghosted pain, knowing I can roll it open when the pressure comes again. Window crack whispers flowing through the car. 420 little voices telling me I've come this far. Blues guitar glowing, bass keeping low. I don't have to prove I'm strong by pretending I don't glow. If tomorrow I forget and load my shoulders up with fishes, I remember I can listen to these window crack whispers. Park the car, kill the lights, but that breeze stays in my lungs like a quiet little chorus humming underneath my tongues. If they ask me how I learned to hear the truth beneath my blisters, I'll say one slow drive at midnight. Yeah, with some window crack whispers. Yeah, with some window crack whispers. Didn't take it last time. Tonight I am. Midnight exit only, little ramp off to the side. I've been passing it for months now, too afraid to leave the ride. Thought if I don't stay in traffic, I'd be losing in the race. Thought the taillights up ahead with some certificate of grace. Now I'm running on resentment and a centimeter's hope. Feeling like a rubber band, that's one more pull from broke. Every week's the same rotation of I got you what you need. Every night's the same equation, sacrifice myself to bleed. So when that lonely blue sign glows against the purple sky, something in my chest says take it, something shaking says just try. I flick the signal, hear it tick like footsteps down a hall. Let the main lane slip beside me as I choose to heed the call. Road drops off to quiet houses, trees arch over faded lines. Lo-fi horns and minor keys, trace forgiveness in the pines. And I realize this small detour isn't failure, isn't flight. It's a midnight exit only from the lie that I'm alright. Midnight exit only, road that's just for me. 420, little reason to step out and finally see. Bluetooth keys around me, bass saying stay. I don't have to keep on driving where my soul won't ever stay. If tomorrow asks me why, leave the lane they call the lonely. I'll say I took a different sign. This said midnight exit only. I roll down to an overlook where the city shrinks to sparks. All the office tower windows look like distant floating marks. Every story there has people still convincing they must grind. Still refreshing every feed to measure if they're left behind. I've been one of them for ages, heart in inbox, blood in charts. Brain in meetings, body nowhere, soul in second-handed parts. But this overpass of quiet tells me you can lay that down. You can miss a single shift without the world removing crown. I park, throw it in the neutral, pull the brake and lean right back. Let the headrest catch the person that the schedule tends to crack. Ash floats up and disappears into the bruised and open night. And I let myself imagine days where pressure isn't right, where I call in just to say I'm not broken but I'm worn, where I skip the Friday plans and don't apologize till dawn, where I treat my own exhaustion like a friend who needs a ride. Not a flaw to be corrected, not ashamed to always hide. Night exit only, road that's just for me. 420, little reason to step out and finally see. Don't see keys around me, bass saying stay. I don't have to keep on driving where my soul won't ever stay. If tomorrow asks me why, leave the lane they call the lonely. I'll say I took a different sign. It said midnight exit only. Maybe freedom isn't vanishing to some far off better place. Maybe it's a 10-minute pull off where you let yourself have space to admit I'm not a robot, to confess this pace is hard, to forgive the part of you that's been on permanent guard. So I offer up this exit as a promise to return. Anytime my chest is tight, anytime my nerves all burn, I don't have to wait for crashing or for flames in every vein. I can take a midnight old friend from the loop inside my brain. Headlights of a stranger pass, then it's empty once again. Just me and a tired moonlight, just me and the steering friend. I fold up my expectations like a crumpled highway map, put it in the glove compartment, let this moment be a nap. Soon enough I'll hit the freeway, reappear in all their sights. Show up to the obligations, answer pings and turn on lights. But I won't forget the feeling of this hush off to the side. Won't forget that I'm allowed to choose a softer ride. I start the engine, check the mirrors, merge back in with calmer breath. Carry midnight exit only like a charm against that death. And when signs for endless grind flash like billboards through the glass, I'll remember there's a ramp I can take out instead of pass. Midnight exit only, road that's just for me. 420, little reason to step out and finally see. Bluesy keys around me, bass saying stay. I don't have to keep on driving where my soul won't ever stay. If tomorrow asks me why'd you leave the lane they call the lonely, I'll say I took a different sign. It said midnight exit only. Fade to black, stereo low, city coming back in view, but a piece of me still parked up Foot on the pedal, mind in the past. Gas pedal goes, riding shotgun in my shoes. Every time I press it down, they start replaying all my blues. Oh, mistakes on every stride, X's in the exit signs. Friends I lost to miscommunications, haunt these highway lines. Purple smearing on the sky like a bruise that learned to glow. Lo-fi kick and snare behind me like a heart that won't let go. I've been speeding through my memories like a montage in a film, skipping every frame of pain and calling numbness being chill. But the ghosts don't like fast forward, they just cling to every mile. Turn my windshield to a mirror, make my present wear their style. I can see the kid I used to be pressed tight against the glass, watching grown me make decisions that he never would've passed. So I ease up on the pressure, let the cruise control release. Let the cabin fill with silence thicker than my theme cup piece. Tell the specters in my sneakers we gon' ride but not like this. You can talk about the damage but you're not my only wish. Gas pedal goes, humming underneath. For 20 little lessons in the rubber and the teeth. Blues guitar floating, smoke in the air. I don't gotta flow my trauma just to prove that I still care. If tomorrow they come rising when I'm trying to coast the most, I'll just loosen up my ankle, have a word with gas pedal ghost. I remember every time I left the scene without a word. Too afraid to face the conflict, too ashamed of being heard. Drove away from we should talk like it's a cop light in my lane. Figured mouths could disinfect what I refuse to name as pain. Now those we should talk turn billboards that I read in retrograde. Every maybe I was wrong is neon underneath the shade. All the times I ghosted feelings, now they ghost me in reverse. Turning every sharp on ram to a guilt-soaked little verse. So I cracked the window open, let the night air join the crew. Saying yeah, I screwed some stories, but they're not the only truth. I can make amends in actions, even if the past is sad. Can't apologize in silence to the folks I never met. Gas pedal ghosts grow quieter when I call them by their names. Tell regrets you kept me cautious, tell avoidance you play games. Tell the fear of being hated, thanks for trying to keep me safe. But I'm driving with more courage, now I'll choose a braver pace. Gas pedal ghosts, humming underneath. 420 little lessons in the rubber and the teeth. Blues guitar floating, smoke in the air. I don't gotta flow my trauma just to prove that I still care. If tomorrow they come rising when I'm trying to coast the most, I'll just loosen up my ankle, have a word with gas pedal ghosts. Maybe hauntings are just stories begging not to be ignored. Moments where I left myself outside and locked up every door. If I let them ride beside me, let them point to where I hurt, maybe I can change the ending, keep the next one less inert. So I'll drive with more intention, I just panic in my soul. Let my foot be less a trigger, more a partner in control. Every time I feel it twitching with that urge to run away, I remember I can stay and that I'm stronger when I stay. Hey. Highway bends into a stretch where all the cities turn to dark. Gas pedal ghosts grow distant like a song that lost its spark. Kid inside the rearview smiles, not in full relief just yet, but enough to say you're learning how to live beyond regret. I pull off into a turnout just to breathe and let them fade. Watch the smoke rise on the shoulder like a homemade hand grenade. Blowing up the old conviction that I'm cursed to always flee. Planting seeds of different futures where my choices honor me. When I merge back on the freeway, I'm not perfect, not all new, but my foot is moving softer and my chest is beating true. If the ghosts tap out a rhythm from the rubber or the chrome, I'll invite them, not obey them while I steer this body home. Gas pedal ghosts, humming underneath. 420 little lessons in the rubber and the teeth. Blues guitar floating, smoke in the air. I don't gotta flow my trauma just to prove that I still care. If tomorrow they come rising when I'm trying to coast the most, I'll just loosen up my ankle, have a word with gas pedal ghosts. Park the ride, lock the door, feel the echoes in my toes. They're still here but less in charge of where my weary engine goes. If they ask me how I stop mistaking speed for holy boast, I'll say I slowed down long enough to talk to gas pedal ghosts. Talk to gas pedal ghosts. Gas pedal ghosts. blinker on, but this time I'm checking my own blind spot too. Late night limerick. Late night lane merge, headlights in my mirror. Every move I make out here makes what's inside a little clearer. I've been drifting in between who I was and who I claim. Signal flashing new direction while I play the same old game. City humming in the distance like a choir out of key. Purple static on the horizon like a glitch in what I see. Lo-fi hi-hats tap the rhythm of a nervous choir playing, while my fingers drum the wheel like time to be a different man. I'm so used to changing over just to match somebody's lane. Speeding up when they're aggressive, slowing down to dodge the pain. Mirror checking for approval more than safety if I'm straight. Trying to make sure they're behind me so I don't feel second rate. But tonight before I slide, I check the blind spots of my heart. Who I'm leaving in the dust when I pretend I got no part. All the dreams I cut off early, all the habits left on red. Every version of myself I keep abandoning instead. Late night lane merge, moving with intent. 420 little treaty with the road and how I'm bent. Blues keys linger, baseline sure. I don't have to change my lane just cause their opinion's pure. If tomorrow I get pressure to align with their converge, I'll remember how it felt to do a late night lane merge. I remember changing courses every time the crowd got loud. Swerving out my chosen journey just to fit inside the cloud. One friend says you're too emotional, I exit off my tears. Another calls me kinda distant, I slam U-turns on my fears. I became a human traffic jam of contradicting wants, trying to serve 100 voices in a loop of on and on. So my own internal GPS just kept recalculating routes. Till where do you wanna go? Got drowned in everybody's shout. So I cut the stereo lower, let my thoughts get center lane. Ask myself like navigation, where you headed, what's your aim? Not in numbers, not in status, not in who is riding to, but in how my shoulders loosen when I picture what is true. Maybe I don't wanna race, maybe I just wanna roll, where my pace is not performance and my worth ain't in the low. Where I merge because I mean it, not because I'm scared of no. Where I pass when I am ready, not when others tell me go. Late night lane merge, moving with intent. 420 little treaty with the road and now I'm bent. Blues keys linger, baseline sure. I don't have to change my lane just cause their opinion's pure. If tomorrow I get pressure to align with their converge, I'll remember how it felt to do a late night lane merge. Maybe boundaries got a turn signal, blinking amber in my chest. Little warning light that says you're shifting, just to make them blast. If I change it's cause I'm frightened of the distance in their eyes, then I'm driving for their comfort, not for truth beneath my lies. So before I cross that white line, I will listen for the click of my own small inner meter saying this one really sticks. If it's yes, I ease the wheel. If it's no, I hold my ground. Either way, I trust my senses more than everyone around. The freeway starts to open where the city falls behind. Stars peek out between the gaps of every billboard in my mind. I tuck in behind a truck that keeps a pace I understand. Not too slow to feel like stopping, not too fast to leave me damn. And I picture other highways I might take some future night. Not because they look impressive, but because they feel more right. Maybe music in another key, maybe stories less the same. Maybe rooms with kind of people who ain't playing ego games. By the time my exit's coming, I've been in this chosen track long enough to know I picked it, not just chase the nearest pack. And that tiny act of choosing is a victory on its own. Proof I don't belong to traffic, I can drive myself back home. Late night lane merge, moving with intent. 420 little treaty with the road and now I'm bent. Blues keys linger, baseline sure. I don't have to change my lane just cause their opinion's pure. If tomorrow I get pressure to align with their converge, I'll remember how it felt to do a late night lane merge. Signal off, engine soft, pulling up where I reside. But the lesson from that freeway still be sitting by my side. If they ask me how I stopped, letting every vibe decide my verge, I'll say one quiet purple freeway and a late night lane merge.
signal down, let the white noise talk.
Dashboard static, little hits behind the song, like the universe reminder that I had it out too long. Every playlist that I run is just a bandage on the ache. Every chorus that I loop is just a break from being away. Purple evening on the windshield, smeared across the glass. City shrinking in the mirror like a half-forgotten class. Had a hand around the wheel, feel the twitch beneath my skin. Lo-fi drums and vinyl crackle, drown a ride from within. I've been scrolling through my life like I'm afraid to stop the feed. Double tapping other people while my own heart starts to bleed. You the music as a muzzle on the howl inside my chest, till the static creeps between the notes and says you ever gonna rest. So I turn the volume lower, let the hits take center stage. Let the imperfections echo like a margin around my rage. Let the road on underneath me with a simple quiet groove, cause I'm tired of acting perfect while my edges never move. Dashboard static, talk to me tonight. 420 little cracks in what I thought was watertight. Blues guitar distant, bass line slow. I don't have to feel the silence just because I'm scared to know if tomorrow I go deaf again from all the noise and panic. I remember there is wisdom in this dusty dashboard stuff. I remember every season I was scared of empty space. Kept the podcast in my earbuds just to never see my face. Left the TV in the background, kept the conversation lit, cause the second things got quiet I could hear my doubts all hit. Every ding from my device became a lifeline I would clutch. Every ringtone like a morphine drip, somebody still needs my touch. So I buried in the chatter what my conscience tried to say. Turned up everything around me till myself got pushed away. Now the hits between the stations sounds like breath I never take. Like 100 missed appointments with the chance to stay awake. And I sit here on this back row with the knob at halfway down, feeling every little crackle like it's sweeping out the town. What if I don't answer messages the minute they appear? What if I don't rush to fix the vibe when things feel weird? What if I can ride in quiet with no script and no escape? Let the static hold my hand while all my numbness changes shape. Dashboard static, talk to me tonight. 420 little cracks in what I thought was watertight. Blues guitar distant, bass line slow. I don't have to feel the silence just because I'm scared to know if tomorrow I go deaf again from all the noise and panic. I remember there is wisdom in this dusty dashboard. Maybe peace ain't in the playlist that can drown the pain the best. Maybe peace is in the moment you stop running from the rest. When you hear the quiet humming and you don't rush into mute. When you treat the awkward silence like a seed instead of brute. So I breathe along in rhythm with this barely there white noise. Let it sand down all the edges of my over-polished poise. Let it tell me you're still human even when you're not on beat. Let it say you ain't a failure just for taking off your cleats. By the time I hit the overlook, stars are poking through the smear. And the static on the stereo feels like proof that I am here. Not as content, not as proud of, not as always on for show. Just a person in a cabin learning how to sit and know. I crack the window, let the night blend with that low electric kiss. Hear the crickets harmonizing with the life I almost miss. And I promise future me who's gonna wanna crank it loud. I'll remember to leave pockets where the quiet is allowed. Then I turn the dial a notch up, let the melody return. But I keep a bit of static so I never can unlearn that beneath the perfect mix is underneath the glossy track. There's a fragile honest heartbeat that I'm never getting back. Dashboard static, talk to me tonight. 420 little cracks in what I thought was watertight. Blues guitar distant, bass line slow. I don't have to feel the silence just because I'm scared to know if tomorrow I go deaf again from all the noise and panic. I remember there is wisdom in this dusty dashboard static. Yeah. Engine off, door open, hallway quiet when I'm home. But that gentle little hiss is still vibrating in my bones. If they ask me how I learned to hear myself through all the traffic, I'll say, yeah, I turn the volume down and listen to dashboard static. I turn the volume down, yeah, and listen to dashboard static. Yeah. Could the sky be looking rich? Tank sitting on the last line, dashboard throwing warnings while the universe looks fine. Amber light blinking, reefer silver orb saying breathe. Two opinions on my night, fighting underneath the sleeve. Purple clouds around the edges like a halo on a bruise. Lo-fi bass beneath my ribs, playing all the same old news. I've been giving out my mileage like I got an endless well, driving everyone to safety while I'm running out myself. Every favor, every got you, every bro, I'm on my way. Put some kilometers on me that I never got the way. Now the needle kissing empty like a friend who won't pretend, saying you can keep this up forever, something's gotta mend. But above is tired hood, there's a moon big as my doubt, shining on my chip paint job like you never count a cloud, telling me you're still worth blowing. Even when your gauge is low, you can still reflect the light when you got nowhere else to go. Full moon on E, broke but blessed, 420 little sermon saying kid you still can rest. Blues guitar floating, smoke in the sea. I don't need a full tank just to say my life's complete. If tomorrow I must hustle just to keep from falling free, I'll remember there was beauty in this full moon on E. I rode past 24-hour stations, neon green and red. Do the math on in my wallet, do the math in my own head. I could feel it to the brim and keep on running like before, or I could grab it just enough and not outrun myself no more. So I pull into the cheapest one, pump a half and let it click, just enough to make it home, not enough to do that trick where I drive all night for others, crossing lines that ain't my own, acting like I'm made of diesel while my spirit's skin and bone. Inside I grab a bottle of water, pay and crumple notes and change. Clerk don't ask me for my story, doesn't treat me like I'm strange, just a nod of simple leaving, like I'm normal under light, like I'm not negotiating how to make it through the night. Back outside that giant moon, got my hood in silver paint, turning all my little worries into something less than sane. And I laugh a little quiet, cause for once I really see I've been acting like this gas tank is the measure for a moon on E. Broke but blessed, 420 little sermon saying kid you still can rest. Blues guitar floating, smoke in the seat. I don't need a full tank just to say my life's complete. If tomorrow I must hustle just to keep from falling free, I'll remember there was beauty in this full moon on E. Yeah. Maybe formulas and numbers, maybe wealth ain't on the dial. Maybe having just enough to get you safely through a mile is more sacred than a surplus that you burn to please a crowd. More divine than showing off how far your engine screams aloud. So I bless the partial tank and bless the sky that's overflowed. Bless the fact that being tired doesn't mean I can't be cold. Bless the choice to head back home instead of prove I never stop. Bless the no I can't tonight that keeps me from a drop. But I ease back on the freeway, but I take the slower lane. Let the moonrise shotgun with me, let it supervise my brain. Every time the warning flickers, I don't panic like before. I just read it as a reminder not to give them any more. Not more time to undeserve it, not more sure when I'm ignored. Not more comfort to the people who refuse to ever grow. I'll still love the ones I'm loving, I'll still pull up when I can, but I'm done igniting fumes just to look like I'm the man. By the time I hit my exit gauges hovering above the line, still a margin for tomorrow, still a sliver saying fine. And the moon is hanging higher like it's watching me decide to park up with something left instead of coming in bone dry. Full moon on E, broke but blessed, 420 little sermon saying kid you still can rest. Blues guitar floating, smoke in the seat. I don't need a full tank just to say my life's complete. If tomorrow I must hustle just to keep from falling free, I remember there was beauty in this full moon on E. Kill the lights, check the gauge, same smoke glow inside the dash. But my chest feel less like empty, less like I'm about to crash. If they ask me how I learned to stop when I got little left, I'll say one cheap tank and a bright sky. Full moon on E, that's it.